Hi everybody, we're back in the glass studio and we're working on the oak tree project. We're actually on the downside of it right now. These are panels number 8 and 9, and pretty soon we'll have the birds finished and we'll be installing those in panels number 9 and 10, and then 11 and 12 will be cutting 11 and 12 this week while the birds are being finished. It's going to be a busy week here at the glass studio. So now I've picked up these 6 pieces here that are going in this up at the top. I've already pulled the blue color. It's just a little bit easier to pull everything together that you have. Start leading it. So we've stretched our lead, and now we're going to start wrapping each one of these little individual leaves here so that we can put it back into the window. So I've stretched a little bit of lead, and this is what I was talking about, y'all. See, I've stretched that lead and I can just hold it out right there and it won't even flex, okay? Had I not stretched this, it would have flexed, okay? It would have flexed like that, except when I was holding it like this. So you want to get that good 3 or 4 inches out of it, because it makes everything, that makes the lead stiffer, which makes your window more rigid, and it's really awesome. And I don't know if you guys can see this piece of glass right here. This is a Yakagani. This is that glass I showed you in the light that looks like it's just really like the sunlight is coming through a brand new leaf being born on a brand new day. So, but anyway, we've got some, like I said, this is one of those really intense textures that we've got going on inside the window here. So here we are, we're adding another piece of glass. We're adding number 41. It's a beautiful piece of glass. Of course, you know me, they're all pretty. They're all beautiful glasses, everybody, I promise you. You know, it's just, there really are no ugly glasses, it's just that some glasses are prettier than others. So we want to make sure that we miter that. We're going to lift that up. We know that we're putting 3/8 flat H lead on the outside of that. So our outside, when we get the lead to the outside edge, we want to cut our lead back 1/4 of an inch from the edge so that we can get, and I don't know any, you know, so that we can get the lead on and get it bitten so that the glass bites in there correctly. And I don't know of any lead nippers that you can actually cut a miter like that without having to cut it square first and then pop it off. So these lead nippers are awesome. You're going to enjoy them. Just check them out on our website. So as we move through all of this, you know, we're going to put another piece of lead right here on this edge, okay? And why are we doing that? Because we need to hold it in place while we work on the rest of this pattern. So what I've done now, and I've started coming up this way with these leaves, these petals. So now I'm coming over here and we're going to put on number 48, and we're going to come back around this way, and then the last piece will drop in, will come down in the middle, and that'll finish up this corner, and then we're gonna push forward and move on down to this end. Get this bad boy finished. Is all the way up in there. exactly where we want it. Okay. So now we'll take our hammer and just a little 1.25 inch nail. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just remember, you have to have something there to hold on to everything else. Okay? So we're using 3/16 lead on this window, and then we're also inserting 3/8 lead, and we're also using 1/4 inch lead on this project. So as we move through different areas of it, whether we're moving up near the top or towards the bottom, we're always going to be using different profiles of lead. And I tell you, we've got these lead nippers on our website, and I really like them because, you know, when you're doing a lot of small stuff like this, you really need to be mitering, and these lead nippers here will cut it off square. They'll do it like that without crimping the backside. They will also really get down on there so that they make a nice miter on your lead as you're joining your pieces together. So I just wanted to show you that. These lead nippers are awesome. They have a nice soft rubber handle on them, and I personally enjoy using them. And you can actually, you know, when you're doing lead, you want to make sure that when you cut that edge, you want that edge to be nice and square so that when it butts up, you know, you can't, I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but you can't cut your lead like that, okay? Because this is going to touch first, so you're going to have a tight joint on one side and a loose joint on the other. So what you want to do when you're cutting your lead, first off, is make sure that that end that you start with is perfectly square. And then you pretty much know you're almost going to have to miter it, because we're going to come in and we're going to put this right here. And it's just a small piece of lead, but it's very significant, because as you're putting your lead window together, you want to make sure that your lead is cut, I mean, fairly tight. If you don't have any movement in your glass, then you don't have a lot to worry about with, you know, your putty and everything else. So you want to make sure, I mean, it's not going to be tight, because you're not going to tighten it up until it comes time to make sure everything's exactly the way it is. But you know, you can look here and see that we've got some 3/8 lead, we've got some 1/4 inch lead. We're using some glass with some really heavy duty texture on it. We've got this beautiful yellow. You probably remember I showed you that yellow and green and black mix earlier in the process. So we wanted you to see that and get a feel of it, because we are using all of those glasses that we showed you in the beginning in these windows. So I've got these little nails here, and they're just gonna hold different things in place as we move around, you know, around the window here. So we've got to get a nail here, because we're stopping right here just for a minute, because we're going to come over here and work our way back around to this point. So sometimes you may have to remove a piece that you put in order to put another piece in, or you may have to remove two pieces to get one in that's kind of wrapped around it. So anyway, we are getting ready to install these little pieces here. And that number 48, okay, that number 48 is going to have to be, or should be, wrapped with lead and then slid down into its position, okay. See, it's like a little square point right there, and you know, you can put it on the grinder if you want, but you know, you can take your grousing pliers and just knock it down real quick and just go ahead and be done with it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel to build your stained glass. So I want you to know a lot of these glasses in the Live Oak project are textured, and we've talked about that in the past. However, I want you to remember that not only are these glasses textured, but because of that, we're using what's called a high heart, or a number 2 lead. That allows me to use a glass up to about 3/16 of an inch thick, without kind of grinding the edges or beveling that edge down a little bit to slide it in. And y'all, I've got some really thick edged glass in these windows, and we'll talk about that in a little while and show you those glasses, because they are something else. And you know, we really, when you can use glasses like that, it just changes your work. That's all it does. It changes your work. You know, so don't be afraid to buy nice glasses. And I know they're expensive, but before you buy them, make sure you know where you're going to use them, because sitting them on the shelf and looking at them and thinking about how pretty they really are kind of can get into your pocketbook, okay? So we're going to get this right here. And then we're going to bring over a nail, put it right there. So I don't know how many of you have been pulling on one part of your window and the other part of the window pop up like a jack-in-the-box. Try not to do that. And remember, when you stop working on your windows for the day, we've done a pretty good bit for today. It's been a long day, and we've done a pretty good bit of glass on this window. So we're hoping that, you know, maybe we only have maybe 4 or 5 more hours to work on it. So we're going to get that finished up and we'll get it soldered. So just keep in mind, this is the oak tree project, but when you're done, okay, when you're done for the evening with your leaded glass panel, don't leave for the night or leave your studio for the evening without covering this up, okay? Because every little bit of dust in the air, every little bit that the air conditioner is blowing around, all of that is going to cause your lead to oxidize. And so when you go to solder it, you're going to find that you're going to have to wire brush it. Barb and I both know that, and I know it from way bad experience. So make sure you cover your lead panels up and your copper foil panels. Cover them up before you leave for the night and then when you come in the morning, everything's nice and fresh, and you can start all over again. Thanks a lot. Tips from the Glass Studio from Ed. Thanks for tuning in today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like us, give us a thumbs up. That's our favorite finger. Have a nice evening.